Chapter 5. 5.1. Krishna's Sannyasi, Muni etc. Informed action. Arjun speaks. Verse number 1. Arjun spoke that out of not taking doing an action, sannyasam karmanam taking an informed action, yogam, O Krishna, you teach that to me, which one of the two is certainly better? Comments. Arjun has failed to understand what Shri Krishna has been teaching. Just as at the beginning of Shlok number 1 of chapter 3, Arjun puts his doubt before Shri Krishna, Arjun again raised a doubt in Shlok number 1 of chapter 5. The purpose seemingly is to know details of correct action, karma yoga, clarification regarding inaction, with ill effects, akarm, action, good natural, karma, and further harmful action, vikram, which were not given in Shlok numbers 16 to 18 of chapter 4. Shri Krishna has never asked Arjun to give up action. On the contrary, Shri Krishna repeatedly requires Arjun to take up arms and to fight. Shri Krishna's sannyasi, muni, ascetic or the like is not a recluse or a hermit living away on mountains, caves, ashrams etc. He is a householder leading his normal life rationally and with varying degrees of detachment, i.e., he is a stoic at different levels of sense control. Reference to Shlok number 4 of chapter 3 is incorrect as the Shlok teaches in favor of taking action doing work. Reference by anyone to Shlok number 17 of chapter 3 is incorrect because any of the four conditions laid therein cannot be fulfilled by anyone seeking specifically deliverance from this earth. Please also see commentary under Shlok number 17 of chapter 3. Further, reference by anyone to Shlok number 21 of chapter 4 is not called for, as the Shlok deals with action without sin. Also, reference to Shlok number 8 of chapter 5 is not right because the subject matter of the same is regarding reaction of the senses of the body. Also, Shlok number 3 of chapter 6 confirms the need of action for spiritual elevation without aiming at it. Note: Chapter 5 and chapter 6 may be read in continuation. 5.2. Krishna's sannyasi, muni etc. Consciousness is the quality only of the soul. The best action. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 2. Shri Krishna spoke, taking of non-fruitive and correct action is the best. However, of the two, taking action is better than not taking action at all. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self speaks. Shri Krishna's above answer is in response to specific and pointed question. Shri Krishna has repeatedly said that action is necessary to be done. The making of the decision, in thought, and the propensity ability to decide, of the person before the action is carried out, may have different elements. In accordance with the quality of the decision-making relating to the fruit of the action may lead to different result, so far as the doer of the action is concerned. Decision under triad in favor of inaction can also be for common good. Correct knowledge, jnana, applied intellect etc., buddhi yoga, as already stated in the previous shlok regarding the decision-making process, correct action, karma yoga, controls the action itself. Please also refer inter alia to Shlok number 17 of chapter 4, Action, Inaction and Bad Action. Reference may usefully be made to Shlok numbers 2, 47 to 55 of chapter 2. Particular attention is drawn to Shlok number 2 of chapter 2, where Shri Krishna tells Arjun that if Arjun does not fight and discharge his professional duties, his inaction will bring infamy and close the door to higher planets. At the stage of Shlok number 2 of chapter 5 above, The question of quality of consciousness, detachment etc. did not arise. Shri Krishna's sannyasi, muni, ascetic or the like is not a recluse living away on mountains, caves, ashrams etc. He is a householder leading his normal life rationally and with varying degrees of detachment, i.e. he is a stoic at different levels of sense control. Note: in the above shlok, the word action in second, and part thereof necessarily includes a fruitive action in the context. The eternal triad has to have the better of the effects of the trio. 5.3 Intellectual ascetic. Easy liberation. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 3. A person who does not hate anybody and does not long for a fruit of his action should be known as an intellectual ascetic householder in daily life. Such a person is free from doubts. He may be easily liberated as his actions may have no bad effects, O mighty armed. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self speaks. As already noticed under shlok numbers 47 to 50, 55 of chapter 2, Shri Krishna has described such a person as a stoic. Shri Krishna has also described the moksha nirvana as ultimate abode of such a person. This shlok deals with a householder and not with a person renouncing the worldly duties. 5.4 Eternal Triad. The only path. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 4. The ignorant person speaks of the concepts of applied intellect, buddhi yoga, correct knowledge, jnana, and correct action, karma yoga, collectively is called triad, and rationality, sankhya, as inconsistent and separate from each other. But the learned persons do not. A person who properly applies himself either to applied intellect, buddhi yoga, correct knowledge, jnana yoga, and correct action, karma yoga, yoga triad, or rationality, sankhya, also enjoys the benefits of both. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self speaks. In the above shlok, Shri Krishna is referring to the method or procedure for looking at any problem. Sankhya requires a rational way of looking at a problem subject matter. Yoga requires a completely proper way to look at the problem subject. These are part of the same group. In shlok number 50 of chapter 2, Shri Krishna has said that the word yoga, yog, means doing taking of all actions correctly and skillfully. Correct knowledge, jnana, applied intellect, buddhi yoga, elevates one to a higher stage spiritually. In comments under shlok number 55 of chapter 2, it is stated as hereafter. Shri Krishna describes the correct knowledge, jnana, applied intellect, buddhi yoga, at their best. A person, the soul, may in stages one after the other, achieve control of the working of his impacted consciousness and control of his senses. The entire process of control of the impacted consciousness and body has been prescribed as only through the correct knowledge, jnana, applied intellect etc., buddhi yoga. It may be noticed that a person who takes action without longing obsession for any particular fruit result for his benefit has been described as a man of correct action, karma yogi, and his action as correct action, karma yoga. This aspect is already stated in commentary under shlok number 39, I, of Ch. 2. Further, comments under Sh. number 10 of Ch. 4 are as follows. It may be kept in view that the aspects of intention and expectation mentioned in I, second part of shlok number 39 of chapter 2 have been synthesized and unified with the aspects of applied intellect, buddhi yoga, including rationality, sankhya, correct knowledge, jnana yoga, and correct action, Karma Yoga. In later part of chapter 2 itself, and the sermon of Bhagwat Gita proceeds on that synthesized unified basis generally. This is how the last part of the shlok using the words benefit of both has to be understood. Alternatively, it may be clarified that the second part of the above shlok really forms part of the first part of the shlok and both have been negatived by the words but the learned persons do not. 5.5. The only path. Auto-elevation. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 5. Whatever stage rationality, Sankhya, achieves, the same is reached by applied intellect, Buddhi Yoga, correct knowledge, Jnana, and correct action, Karma Yoga. Those who look at rationality, Sankhya, and those who look at applied intellect, Buddhi Yoga, correct knowledge, Jnana, and correct action, Karma Yoga, in one manner, same way, they are right. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self speaks. Shlok numbers 2 to 5 of chapter 5 may be read together. The above view is being taken on the basis that without rational approach, reasoning, proper analysis etc. one cannot correctly understand any extent of knowledge. Therefore, correct action, Karma Yoga, cannot follow. Similarly, the converse is also true because rational approach, reasoning, proper analysis etc. being the only processes which have to be applied to knowledge for correct action, Karma Yoga. Otherwise, this process can be of no use if divorced from information etc. and facts. Since applied intellect, Buddhi Yoga, and rationality, Sankhya, are interlinked and interwoven, that is why Shri Krishna in shlok number 39 of chapter 2 uses the two expressions in the same breath. The purpose of any knowledge is to achieve correct action. The purpose of applied intellect, Buddhi Yoga, including rationality, Sankhya, i.e. correct analysis is to achieve correct action, Karma Yoga. Both are of no use without the other. These two are not separate channels to end in correct action, Karma Yoga. They are but one. The sermon of Bhagwat Gita has synthesized the two to lead to correct action, including auto-elevation to higher planets and even merger with the Brahm. It should be clearly understood that expectation and intention and the like are very much part of knowledge, Jnana. From action to auto-elevation is the exclusive blessing to mankind bestowed by the Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna in the sermon of Bhagwat Gita. 5.6. To Brahm. From action. Auto-elevation. Science Psychology. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 6. But a non-fruitive action may have difficulties without resorting to correct action, Yoga, O mighty armed one. A stoic through proper and skillful action may soon reach the Brahm Ishwar. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self speaks. Shlok numbers 2 to 10 of chapter 5 may be read together. In the above shlok, Shri Krishna has used two words Sannyasa and Muni. The purpose of this part of the sermon is to tell Arjun that a right thinking and right doing, a stoic person should make a start to do action with a certain consciousness thought process, i.e. a non-fruitive action. Soon enough, such a person, Muni stoic, will tread the path of doing work without longing for a reward. Naturally, such a person may reach the Brahm Ishwar, Nirvan, as already stated by Shri Krishna in shlok number 72 of chapter 2. This is the path which leads from non-fruitive action to Brahm, without aiming at it as an auto-elevation. Shri Krishna's sannyasi, Muni, ascetic or the like is not a recluse living away on mountains, caves, ashrams etc. He is a householder leading his normal life rationally and with varying degrees of detachment, i.e., he is a stoic at different levels of sense control. 5.7. Peace in world. Common consciousness. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 7. A person through proper and skillful action, whose soul is pure and has vanquished longings and controlled the senses, he shares a common consciousness with all living beings. Also, engaged in work, he is not attached to action. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. This shlok may be considered in continuation to preceding shlok number 6 of chapter 5. The qualities mentioned in shlok numbers 6 to 10 of chapter 5 are most of the qualities of a stoic person mentioned earlier in shlok numbers 47 to 55 of chapter 2, relating to correct knowledge, Gyan, applied intellect, etc., Buddhi Yoga. The person is constantly alive to the fact and the feeling that other living beings have a soul in each, as he himself has. His thinking, conduct and actions are guided by this vital feeling and awareness of the soul. Such an approach towards life generates feeling of equality, kindness, respect for others including all forms of life, non-violence and the like feelings reactions based on equality. Please see inter alia, shlok numbers 42 to 44, 52, 53 of chapter 2, 11 and 24 of chapter 4, 18 and 29 of chapter 5, 40 of chapter 6, 9 of chapter 7. Equality. It is reiterated that the above philosophy of common consciousness leading to feeling of equality amongst all living beings holds the key to the peace in every society, nation and the world. This is of lasting relevance. Crimes, compulsions on the weak, religious conversions, cornering of resources, cocky capitalism, callous casteism and classifications etc. will yield place to coexistence, cooperation, peace, prosperity etc. 5.8. Tiny auto-sense function. Stoic. Science physiology. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 8. A person through proper and skillful action even while using all his senses such as seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, dreaming and breathing, such a person need not be specifically conscious of the truth of sensations while being absorbed in his work. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. The shlok is also in continuation to shlok numbers 6 and 7 of chapter 5. What Shri Krishna is revealing in the shlok number 8 of chapter 5 is a very fine working of functioning of the soul. The qualities mentioned in shlok numbers 6 to 10 of chapter 5 are so fine-tuned in a person that he lives his life according to the above said attitude and attributes without being conscious about them. Commentary under shlok number 72 of chapter 2 may be kept in view. Of course, the consciousness of the soul is ever watchful about all ongoings in or outside, affecting the body even when senses are asleep, at rest. 5.9. Tiny auto-sense function. Stoic. Science physiology. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 9. Speaking, giving out, receiving, blinking the eyes, normal natural use of the senses in relation to sense objects, he is not specifically conscious. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. This shlok is in continuation of shlok numbers 6 to 10 of chapter 5 as the shlok describes in detail the quality of activity of a stoic person. Further, it is submitted that the shlok number 23 of chapter 5 be read with shlok numbers 8 and 9 of chapter 5. Thus, the true meaning of shlok number 8 of chapter 5 and 9 of chapter 5 will clearly indicate the details of the tiny sense functions of a stoic while living. He reaches the Brahm by way of auto-elevation on his death. 5.10. Action without any sin. Auto-elevation. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 10. If any person, for good and moralistic principles, performs action, giving up attachment, he is not smeared stained by sin, just like a lotus petal though in waters, is not stained. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Reference may usefully be made to shlok numbers 61 to 65 of chapter 2. In shlok number 61 of chapter 2, Shri Krishna adverts to Brahm's teachings etc. in order that a person is able to fully control his senses both in action, deed, as well as in thought. What the above expression will indicate is that whenever a person has to decide about the action he should do or not do, or to follow or not to follow a course, and whether his action or course is righteous or not, the person should have guidance from the life and teachings etc. of the Brahm and Shri Krishna. In the said shlok number 61 of chapter 2, Shri Krishna tells Arjun follow the teachings etc. of the Brahm and do his duties. In shlok number 30 of chapter 3, Shri Krishna again asks Arjun to join the battle, attributing Arjun's action and result thereof to be for moralistic principles and for good of the society. No part of any sin will attach to Arjun. A person may have duties to his occupation, his nation, his society etc. It may be noticed that Shri Krishna repeatedly asks Arjun to take up the arms and to fight. Attention is invited to shlok numbers 18, 37 and 38 of chapter 2. Thus, Brahm's and Shri Krishna's guidance is available to each and everyone irrespective of caste, creed, to the poorest of the poor, to the rich, to any professional, to any worker etc. The person has only to follow the teachings and principles laid down by the Brahm and as reiterated by Shri Krishna. His teachings etc. lay down guidance for those who want a happy and satisfied life on this earth and also want to seek the heaven etc. All the above conditions, levels of life or deliverance, will be reached through action and without any longing obsession. It is also very relevant to refer to English translation of shlok number 6 of chapter 4, where Shri Krishna speaking as the Brahm tells Arjun, Brahm has had no origin, unborn, and is immortal living entity person. Brahm is the creator of all living beings. Also, Brahm has created the nature. By controlling nature and its processes, and of his own volition powers, Brahm causes his alter ego to manifest. The word Brahmani in the above shlok is indicative of the righteous action and moral action to be judged from the guidance provided by the Brahm's teaching etc. as mentioned inter alia in shlok number 61 of chapter 2. Shri Krishna is the alter ego of the creator the Brahm. Shlok numbers 47 to 55 of chapter 2 and 6 to 10 of chapter 5 inter alia set out the qualities, attributes and conduct of the man of Bhagwat Gita's conception. He follows the teachings etc. of the Brahm and Shri Krishna. He is the man of action. He is the man of the Brahm. His death just tips over his soul onto the lap of the Brahm. In shlok numbers 8 and 9 of chapter 5, Shri Krishna is referring to certain routine but minute, even reflex activities of the body. The purpose of such a minute reference seems to be that though these minute reflexes are in the nature of action, yet no sin attaches to such an activity of a stoic. Of course, the bigger higher activities of a living being are also mentioned in Shlok numbers 6, 7, 10 to 12 of chapter 5 etc. Shlok number 19 of chapter 5 covers the same situation of ripeness for deliverance moksha as auto-elevation. 5.11 Consciousness is the quality only of the soul. Right action. Perfect stoic. Man of the Brahm. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 11. A perfect stoic, man of correct action karma yogi, uses his body, consciousness, intentions, expectations, senses without attachment so that his soul is purified, resulting in righteous action. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shri Krishna is repeating what he has already preached in chapter 2. Please see inter alia, Shlok numbers 2, 39, 1, 48 to 50 of chapter 2. 5.12 Contentment. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 12. A person doing his work without attachment to a particular fruit result obtains great contentment. The person not doing the work without attachment or longing for a particular fruit result is likely to be bound by the ill effects. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shri Krishna is reiterating the earlier preachings of a fruitive action or otherwise. Please refer to chapter 3. 5.13 Soul is not non-matter. Soul is very fine matter. Consciousness is the quality only of the soul. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 13. If all activities are carried on without attachment and longing by the conscious soul, the contentment is under control of the soul. The soul resides in the body with 9 outlets apertures and will not have any ill effects of doing or causing to be done the said activities. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shri Krishna up to Shlok number 12 of chapter 5, to be read with 13 of chapter 5 and right through chapters 2, 3 and 4, has laid repeated stress on detachment, non-fruitive action, control of impacted consciousness etc. For the success of a stoic, karma yogi, blessed with correct knowledge, jnana, applied intellect, buddhi yoga, etc., control of consciousness and longings are the very basis. The shlok assumes, underlines and reiterates. 1. That the consciousness and the soul are different. 2. That the consciousness and the soul cannot remain without any activity. 3. Consciousness is an attribute of the soul only, therefore different. Non-doer as witness only if no sin. If no sin attaches to the soul, the activity done or caused to be done by the soul, then the soul may be described as a non-doer or a witness only. However, if the conditions of doing or getting done are defective, the sin will attach to the soul and will be the doer and not in the position of a mere witness. Shri Krishna further details about the said aspects in the subsequent shloks. Reference is invited inter alia to Shlok numbers 14, 15, 30 of chapter 2, 42, 43 of chapter 3, 23 of chapter 12, 7 and 8 of chapter 15. Any other interpretation of the above shlok will not be consistent with Shlok number 12 of chapter 5 and the preceding shloks in chapters 2, 3 and 4. It is sufficient inter alia to refer to Shlok numbers 14, 30 of chapter 2, 21 of chapter 13, 5 of chapter 14. Shri Krishna in the above shlok is referring to the action which has no ill effect on the doer. This stage is reached by a man of correct action, Karma Yogi, and man of applied intellect, Buddhi Yogi. Please see inter alia, shlok numbers 55 of chapter 2, 12, 49 and 56 of chapter 18. This is why it is stated above that the soul is neither a doer nor causing the act to be done, is a witness only. This is a rare state of living beings who are already while living, one with the Brahm Ishwar. The word sanyasya in the above shlok, separated from the word aste, should mean without attachment or longing and not ceasing of all activity by the soul body. The above concept of non-doer witness only has been evolved since no sin attaches to the correct action. In fact, only a man of action discharging his duties, as explained in the sermon, causes no sin by his actions. He will, in theory, be treated as a non-doer witness only, if the word soul is replaced by the word man. The above shlok and its interpretation will apply to humans also. Please also see inter alia, number 14 of ch.4, number 19 of ch.14, numbers 13, 17 of ch.18. A part of commentary on number 14 of ch.4 is reproduced. This shlok clarifies that whatever Shri Krishna does being not sinful, there is a no reaction or burden of the action on Shri Krishna. 5.14. Brahm, his alter ego. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 14. In the world, the Brahm Prabhu, generally, does not cause, interfere with, conditions potentialities to act nor the actions, nor in the connection of actions and the reactions. The result fruit is produced follows by the innate nature quality of the act. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. In this shlok, Shri Krishna is answering the question, whether Ishwar constantly and continuously controls every action and reaction in the world, or do the events occur or things take shape because of their inherent nature quality. After creation of the world, the contents therein are permitted to have their play and the consequences. This sermon also lays down reveals the functions of nature being performed. Please also see shlok numbers 14 and 15 of chapter 3. Nature performs functions on its own normally which have and may continue to have effects on the living beings. Please refer to the trio. The exceptional circumstances when the Brahm has to intervene in the affairs of the world or any part thereof are limited. Then, he intervenes through Brahm's alter ego as indicated in shlok numbers 6 to 8 of chapter 4. However, one should always remember that the Brahm can always intervene in the affairs of the world, including the lives of all living beings according to his own judgment, directly. 5.15. Reap what you sow. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 15. Brahm Vibhu does not take on himself anyone's sins, nor any good action. The living beings are bewildered by ignorance eclipsing the knowledge. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. In shlok numbers 14 and 15 of chapter 5, Shri Krishna is explaining the general pattern of behavior of the living beings if there is no intervention of the Creator Brahm Ishwar. The above shlok is indicating the futility of fruitive ceremonies often performed by ignorant persons and high priests who want that somebody else, proxy, should bear the burden of their wrongful actions. 5.16. Auto-elevation. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 16. Those who destroy overcome their own ignorance by knowledge are enlightened with knowledge, the relationship of the Brahm Ishwar like the rising sun does to the darkness. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. In this shlok and the shloks following, Shri Krishna is giving further details of a stoic as briefly stated in shlok numbers 15, 47 to 49, 55 of chapter 2, 19 and 20 of chapter 3. As stated in the above shloks of chapter 2 and 3, the stoic person realizes the Brahm by way of auto-elevation. In shlok number 16 of chapter 5 above, the persons with the qualities stated in the shlok, qualities of a stoic person, understand the relationship of the Creator and the created and their ultimate destination of Nirvan Moksha. 5.17 Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 17. Those with the proper knowledge, with self-control, with sincerity and with confidence, in their performance with knowledge, wash away, avoid the sins and do not take a rebirth after death. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 17 to 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. The above shlok is further detailing the qualities of a stoic person. Reference may be made to shlok numbers 50, 51 and 72 of chapter 2 etc. 5.18 Constitution of India. Egalitarian view. Basis. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 18. A truly enlightened and knowledgeable person, with humility, will equally treat a learned person, a cow, a dog, an elephant and a wretch. A very highly experienced person will look at all living beings with an even view. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 17 to 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. In this shlok, Shri Krishna has cut across all divisions, classes, creeds, castes and has opined and advised taught to look at all living beings impartially and evenly. This is unmatched and outstanding view of Shri Krishna which is relevant at all times for a just society. The above principle laid down has been the bedrock of all good and civilized societies and also of the socialistic thoughts and also enshrined in the Constitution of India. The teachings etc. to look at the living beings with equality is indicative of the Brahm's and Shri Krishna's great concern for the lowliest in the society. His great concern is also given to all other living beings whether they can speak or not, move or not. His care is available to all living beings. His outlook must be followed and practiced by the human society. In this connection, reference may be made to shlok numbers 18, 37, 38, 61, 65 of chapter 2. Reference is also invited to shlok numbers 24 and 28 of chapter 4, number 7 of ch. 5 etc. showing the Brahm's and Shri Krishna's care of all living beings. 5.19 Nearness to Brahm. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 19. Those who are consciously equipoised, with reference to all living beings, have certainly achieved the highest level of morality in the society world, while living. They are flawless. They are near to Brahm and certainly enjoy his, Brahm's, care. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 17 to 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. In this shlok, Shri Krishna says that those who have the qualities set out in the previous shlok number 18 of chapter 5, are very highly esteemed in the society and are near to the Brahm. Such people develop the highest spiritual and moral level while living. Reference may usefully be made to Shlok numbers 61 to 65 of chapter 210 of chapter 5, which cover the situation of deliverance moksha. 5.20 No Brahm, no teachings, etc. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 20. A person who does not get elated on receiving a likable, favorable, something nor is disturbed by receiving unlikable, unfavorable, anything, is equipoised, a stoic person, and who is not bewildered, he is fully conscious of the Brahm correctly and practices his teachings, etc. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok number 18 of chapter 5 onwards are detailing as to the attributes and the ideals for a worldly man. We should clearly understand what would knowing the Brahm mean in the context of the Shlok. As noticed earlier, the sermon of the Bhagwat Gita has the teachings etc. of the Brahm. For example, Shlok numbers 9 to 13 of chapter 3 and Shlok number 1 of chapter 4 refer to such teachings etc., chapter 2 and 3. It has also been noticed earlier that Shri Krishna as alter ego of the Brahm has reiterated the teachings etc. of the Brahm. One can only know the Brahm through his teachings etc. as given in the sermon. It can also be accepted that alter ego of the Brahm is delivering the message of the Brahm in this sermon. To say in a line, to know the Brahm is to know his teachings etc. and the teachings etc. reiterated by his alter ego Shri Krishna. Note. The expression Brahmvid Brahmani Sthita in the above shlok is being interpreted to mean fully conscious of Brahm correctly and practicing his teachings etc. The word Brahmani has the dictionary meaning of connected to the Brahm. The word vid has the dictionary meaning is knowing knower. Therefore, the expression Brahmvid has been interpreted to mean knowing of the teachings etc. of the Brahm. 5.21 No Brahm, no teachings etc. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 21. The person, soul, who is detached from external sensory objects, he is a satisfied and happy person. Such a person, soul, has realized the teachings etc. of the Brahm and Shri Krishna practices them, enjoys inexhaustible happiness delight. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 17 to 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. 5.22 Consciousness is the quality only of the soul. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 22. On contact with the external sensory objects, the soul may suffer pain and happiness. Thus, these have a beginning and an end, O son of Kunti. The wise persons do not indulge in this. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 17 to 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. In the above shlok, some of the qualities of a stoic are set out. 5.23 Stoic. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 23. The person who is able to withstand the creation of the strong impulses of anger and longings and overcomes them, while living, before giving up his body, certainly, he is an attuned in his actions correctly and is satisfied. He has no doubts and bewilderment. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 17 to 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. In this shlok, Shri Krishna is once again referring to the qualities of a stoic person and the result of a controlled action while he is leading the worldly life. The use of the word vimokshanat in the shlok is not without reason. It is indicative of the possibility of liberation from the cycle of life and death if the person had led his life in a particular manner. Reference may be made to shlok number 72 of chapter 2, 17 of chapter 5. Further, shlok numbers 8 and 9 of chapter 5 be read with and understood by reference to shlok number 23 of chapter 5. In the above shlok also, some of the qualities of a stoic are described. 5.24 Self-consciousness explained. Action. Moksha. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 24. The person, perfect stoic, with self-contentment, self-confidence and self-conscious of soul, and who is immersed in Brahm, following the teachings etc. of the Brahm, is likely to reach Brahm, attain moksha nirvana. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 17 to 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. In this shlok, Shri Krishna is again referring to the attributes and qualities of a stoic person because these qualities attributes can exist only in such a person. Such a person had to be a man of action following the teachings etc. of the Brahm and Shri Krishna. The expressions self-confidence, self-conscious and self-contentment should be correctly understood in view of what has been taught so far in this sermon. The expression self-consciousness will mean knowing that the soul is a fragment of the Brahm. It is located in the heart in the body. It is the master of the body. It may partially be covered by the effects of fruitive goodness, sattva, fruitive keenness, rajas, and fruitive ignorance, tamas, caused by the functioning of nature and the effects of past actions. The aim of the living beings is to acquire correct knowledge, Jnana Yoga, to maximize the potential of the soul, analyze the same under applied intellect, Buddhi Yoga, including rationality, Sankhya, and to apply the same towards correct action, Karma Yoga, i.e. non-fruitive action. The expression self-consciousness should not be understood as referring to the physical presence of the Brahm, but only to the soul in the material body. The substance of the expression self-confidence and self-contentment is to be acquired from knowledge and as stated in this sermon. Also see inter alia, commentary under shlok numbers 13, 15, 45, 59 to 63, 72 of chapter 2, 19, 27 to 34 of chapter 3, 22, 23 of chapter 4, 6 to 10 of chapter 5. 5.25 Researchers 2. Moksha. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 25. The scientists, researchers may attain nirvana who are cleansed of sins, bereft of doubts, who are self-controlled, who treat living being equally and act as men of action and for the benefit of all living beings. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shri Krishna in the above shlok has detailed the qualities, activities, attributes of the scientists, researchers, who have combined the qualities of a man of correct knowledge etc. and a man of correct action, Karma Yogi. Such scientists, researchers by their activities, conduct etc. reach a certain higher level while being worldly men. Shri Krishna has revealed that such persons are also able to reach the Brahm. 5.26 Stoic. Nearness to Brahm. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 26. Those persons who have overcome longing and anger, controlled their impacted consciousness in all respects, realize the nature of the soul, such persons, imperfect. Stoic, live in nearness to the Creator Brahm. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 17 to 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. The imperfect Stoic has many qualities, but not all as are required to be in a Stoic. 5.27 Physical Yoga. Senses. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 27. Person who controls his external touch, senses perceptions, focuses between the two eyebrows, controls his breathing, inhaling and exhaling, develops power of concentration. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 17 to 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. These two verses Numbers 27 and 28 of ch. 5, partly, are dealing with certain features of the physical exercises falling under the word yoga. The object of the shloks is to enable a person to gradually obtain power of concentration-focused attention on any subject. It may be kept in view that these exercises aid and help a person to correctly analyze and apply the teachings etc. of the Brahm and Shri Krishna. 5.28 Stoic. Nearness to Brahm. Shri Krishna speaks. Verse number 28. Controls his senses, impacted consciousness, thought processes, intellect and is without any longing, anger, fear. Such a person is always light-hearted and may reach the Brahm Nirvana. Comments. Brahm's alter ego Shri Krishna, the second self, speaks. Shlok numbers 27 and 28 of chapter 5 may be read together. Furthermore, reference may also be made to Shlok number 27 of chapter 6 regarding living in state of sinlessness. 5.29 It is easy not to work. It is easy to sing praises, to light lamps, candles and fires etc. Brahm. Action. Auto-elevation. Ishwar speaks. Verse number 29. The person who realizes that sincere and correct activity, yajna, and sincere efforts for self-discipline, tapsam, may auto-elevate one to the Brahm. Brahm is the controller of all universe. One who knows that the Brahm acts for the benefit of all living beings, attains a peaceful life. It is easy to be selfish, and to be disunited. It is easy to be overrun and ruled by outsiders best of material spiritual worlds. All activities including self-discipline are to be taken with a view to discharging one's duties in life. Moksha may follow as an auto-elevation. Right up to chapter 5, Shri Krishna has shown and prescribed only one path, and that is of discharging one's duties while being a worldly man. This may lead to heaven. If the activities are not fruitive, those may lead to higher planets. If the activities are not fruitive and are also fully and truly in accordance with the teachings etc. of the Brahm and Shri Krishna, the worldly man will have best of this world and best of the spiritual world. Please see Shlok numbers 9 to 13 of chapter 3. So far, it may be understood clearly that this sermon does not make a distinction between the effects of the use of the words reaching the Brahm, Nirvana and Moksha. Persons falling under any of the three categories merges with the Brahm. Please see commentary under Shlok number 72 of chapter 2 for detailed comments. A person's activities should be such that the conditions for the Brahm to manifest his alter ego do not exist or come about on this earth. Please see Shlok numbers 6 to 8 of chapter 4. It is proper to notice that so far in Bhagwat Gita, There is not a whisper in favor of bhakti by way of recitation of mantras, hymns, ceremonials, worship, praising, fasting, austerities, personal discomfiture, etc.